Hello everybody! Today is a big video because I'm going to be ranking every horror movie that I have watched this year so far. This is my first tier ranking video and I'm super excited. I'm also going to do one for all of the horror books that I've read this year. I'm only going to be ranking movies that I've watched for the very first time this year, so no rewatches. So let's get started. So this year I have watched around 40 new horror movies. Unfortunately, I've barely been out to the cinema this year, so you will notice there are some big movies that came out in 2025 that are sadly absent from this list. If we scroll down to the bottom here, these are all of the new movies that I have watched in 2025. And then let's take a look at the categories that I've made. So we have at the top, S tier is I can't stop thinking about this movie. So this one is reserved for the horror movies that I am absolutely obsessed with since I've seen them. They live rent-free in my brain and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. Then we have A tier, which is a bloody good time. Not as good as S tier, obviously, but I still thoroughly enjoyed them. Then B tier, we have I like this movie, but I didn't love it. C tier is meh. D tier, I've apparently forgot to name, so we're going to name it right now and I'm going to call it pretty bad. And then in F tier we have not worth the time. This is for the movies that I wish I could take back those 2 hours. Also a word of warning, there will be some movies on here I suspect that people will say are inherently very bad movies, but I'm also taking into account my enjoyment of them. A movie can be bad, but I still might enjoy it. So that is where it will sneak up a little bit in the rankings. This is just my personal opinion, of course. You may have differing ones, and that's absolutely fine, but this is my list, so I hope you enjoy, but let me know what you agree and disagree with in the comments. Right, first movie that we are going to start with, and I think is actually criminal that I hadn't watched it until this year, and that is Autopsy of Jane Doe. This one immediately I know that I'm going to put in A tier. Unfortunately for me, I think the only thing that's stopping this from going up to an S tier is because I already knew the twist and like the ending of the movie before I went into it. I highly suspect that if I had gone into this not knowing the twist, it would have been an S tier hands down because it's so good and such a shocking twist. An absolutely incredible movie. It's so creepy. How there are not more movies set in morgues, I have no idea. I'm putting these on the tier list in kind of more or less the order I watched them throughout the year or to the best of my memory. And I watched the exact same day that I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe, I also watched The Disappointment Room. This movie, without even thinking twice, is going in F tier. I think I started with The Disappointment Room and then it was just so bad that I had to watch something to redeem my day, and that's why I watched Autopsy of Jane Doe, because I knew and had heard very good things about that. The Disappointment Room was ironically very disappointing. Now we have our first S tier movie of this list, and that is hands down gotta be The Substance. Got to this super late, should have seen it as soon as it came out, but it really lived up to the hype for me. It is a great movie. I love all of the practical effects that we used in it, and also the movie just looks stunning. I love color in horror films. Now we're going to move on to the biggest horror franchise that I have watched this year, maybe ever, and that is the Saw franchise. The first Saw film isn't on this list because I had already seen it. If I was ranking it here, it would definitely be an S or an A tier for sure, but I really got into binging horror film franchises this year. I started strong with the Saw franchise and I've honestly become obsessed with it since I watched it all the way through. Cannot wait to binge all of those movies again. So we are going to start by putting Saw 2 at A tier. I cannot for the life of me see it amongst all these pictures. I don't know why I didn't order these and put all the franchises together. Oh, it was literally right in front of me. You're going in an A tier. Then, unpopular opinion, I actually like Saw 3 better than Saw 2. So I am actually going to be putting Saw 3 at an S tier. The reason that I like this one more than 2 is because the twist at the end is just so good. And similar to Autopsy of Jane Doe, I did already kind of know the twist and the reveal at the end of Saw 2. Like, these movies have been out for so long at this point that it's my own fault. So maybe I shouldn't let that affect my judgment of them, but I'm just ranking them based on gut instinct. So then Saw 4 is also going to be an A tier. Saw 5. This is where, this is really hard because the quality of the Saw films I do feel decreases. But this is where I say that I find it hard because I still really enjoy them. Honestly, the Saw franchise as a whole, S tier all day long. But as individual movies and when comparing them to other movies on this list, that's why I feel like they're going to be ranked a little bit lower. So 5 is going at a B tier, which I feel like is kind of unfair when looking at the name of the category because I do love these movies. Saw 6 also going at a B tier. Now, Saw 3D. This is where we're getting into pink blood territory. It's going at a C tier, which feels criminal. Jigsaw also going at a C tier. Spiral, D tier. It is my least favorite out of the whole franchise. It's just so serious, I feel like, compared to the other Saw films. But that one just weirdly feels a lot bleaker. Then we have Saw X. You're going at an S tier. Absolutely incredible. The gore is off the charts. It's so disgusting. It was one of the only films out of the whole Saw franchise where I actually had to look away at certain points. And also I had managed to avoid spoilers for that movie, so I got to enjoy it completely for the first time without any outside influence. Next, we're gonna do Heart Eyes. Heart Eyes, I'm gonna put at a C. In fact, actually, maybe I'm gonna move it down to a D. I'm changing my mind on the fly here. I'm gonna put it at a D. I remember barely anything about that movie, so I feel like that speaks for itself. Next, let's do 28 Years Later, because I think I watched both that and Heart Eyes very close together. 28 Years Later is gonna be a C tier. I did like it more than Heart Eyes. There were some interesting stylistic choices in 28 Years Later that really threw me off. The Bone Temple stuff in that movie is what I liked the most. Now let's move on to the next franchise that I binged this year, and that was the Final Destination movies. I really didn't rate the Final Destination movies as much as I think other people do. So the first movie is going at B tier, and it's not gonna get much better from here. 2, also going at a B tier. 3, we're putting that at a C tier. Number 4 is going at a D tier. Then 5, I'm gonna go back up to C tier. And the reason that that one gets moved back up to a C tier is because of the ending. I like that twist. I thought it was really cool. But then surprisingly, we are gonna put Bloodlines at an A tier. I really, really liked Bloodlines. The problem that I have with the Final Destination franchise in general is that they are so samey. Every single movie, maybe it's because I watched them so close back to back, but every single movie I was waiting for some sort of expansion on the lore, and it never came. I think it was number 5 when they finally tried to add a little something extra to the lore, but by that point it's already too late. But Bloodlines did add something different that I really liked. Some of the kills are absolutely crazy. I've watched like the behind the scenes on how they did some of them as well. They clearly put so much work into making those kills look good, and it gave me what I was craving and what I wanted the other movies earlier in the franchise to do. Okay, now I'm putting an absolutely god tier movie at the top of this list. Sinners, S tier. I mean, it can't not be. S for Sinners. If you haven't watched this movie, go and watch this movie. It is one of my favorite movies of this year, period. It is so good. The thing that blew my mind about Sinners is the young actor in it. I think he plays Sammy. His voice is absolutely incredible. He's a singer first and foremost. And I think this is his first major feature film, his first acting gig, and he absolutely nails it. He's so good. And then the twins, they're incredible as well. The music, I've listened to the soundtrack of this movie multiple times since I watched it. And yeah, it literally fits the exact description of it. I cannot stop thinking about it. Seeing as we're about halfway through the rankings right now, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to try and keep up with posting more consistently in the new year, so you will have lots of fun horror related videos to watch. Let's wrap up the franchises that I've watched this year, and the last franchise that I have binged is The Conjuring. Again, I'd already seen the first Conjuring movie, so that's why it's not on this list. If it was, I feel like the first Conjuring might be like a B tier. The second Conjuring I thought was awesome, so that's going at an A tier. I liked it more than the first movie. We obviously get the introduction of Valak, who is iconic to the franchise now. Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It, I think that's gonna go at a C tier. That one's going at a C tier. I was very, very close to putting it at a D tier, but I don't think I can put it that low. And then Conjuring Last Rites, also a C tier? Maybe a B tier. Let's put it at a B tier. I think it was a pretty good conclusion to the Warrens story. I know I don't have any of the other Conjuring universe movies on here. I just stuck to the Ed and Lorraine Warren movies for now, but I will be watching the rest of those movies at some point. I was just enjoying the Ed and Lorraine Warren ones, so I stuck to them. Then we're gonna chuck a little Christmas movie in here. Krampus I watched for the very first time this year, and I'm gonna put that at a B tier. I can see that being the type of movie that I will watch every year at Christmas. There's so much going on in that movie, and there's some actually genuinely like creepy creatures, beings in it, and it had me laughing multiple times. I think the disappointment room is looking a little bit lonely all down there by itself. It needs a friend, and that friend is unfortunately going to be Hell House Lineage. The Hell House LLC movies, I binged that franchise last year, and I absolutely love the first Hell House movie. I think it is one of the best found footage films that I've ever seen. I also absolutely loved Carmichael Manor, and I think that set up my expectations way too high for what Lineage was going to be. And I feel so bad putting it an F tier. I just think they should have stuck to the found footage. It worked so much better, and I feel like some of its flaws became more obvious because it was different from its normal form. And at the complete opposite end of the spectrum to Hell House, we're going to put The Long Walk at an S tier. Is it a horror movie? It's more a thriller, I think, but like, you cannot argue that the things that happen in that movie are horrific. I read the book in anticipation of the movie coming out, and the movie is incredible. It had me so emotional, which I wasn't expecting. It's a very bleak movie. It's not happy, or the moments that are happy in it are very quickly followed by hard-hitting moments of sadness and kind of the boys realizing where they are. I just thought it was incredibly acted, incredibly heartfelt. After I watched it, I immediately wanted to watch it again, which is weird considering how sad it is. Right, FNAF 2. I'm going to annoy some people here, but I'm putting FNAF 2 at an A tier. I cannot in good conscience put this movie at an S tier, and I don't think that I would, because I know better than that. But if there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I love FNAF. I'm obsessed with the franchise, the games, the books, and now the movies. I'm obsessed with the lore. I could talk for a good long while about all of the things that I love about FNAF. So when I go and see these movies in the cinema, it just makes me happy, and that's why I have to put it an A tier. And I also do think I liked the second one more than the first FNAF movie. Now, this was another weird binging moment for me, but I just started watching a lot of Russell Crowe movies, at least the Russell Crowe horror movies. So in very quick succession, I watched The Pope's Exorcist, Unhinged, and The Exorcism. The Pope's Exorcist, A tier. It's so funny. It literally had me cackling at some points. Not sure if it was supposed to be as funny as I found it, but I had such a good time. Opposite end of the spectrum, The Exorcism, F tier. It's also just so funny to me that Russell Crowe was in two exorcism movies so close together, and one was so good and one was so bad. Then Unhinged, again, more of a thriller, but I'm gonna put that at a C tier. Because again, it had me laughing and having a good time. Not entirely sure whether it was supposed to be. Halloween Ends, you're an F tier. I'm sorry. Which is a shame because I love Halloween 2018. I actually think that that one's pretty good as far as reboots, requels go. Cube, B tier. Very similar to Krampus. I just had a really fun time. They're not the best. They're not the best quality, but you will not be bored. You will not be bored watching Cube or Cube 2 Hypercube, but Cube 2 is going at a C. I can't in good conscience put it any higher. We are down to the final 5 movies, and at a B tier, we are putting Speak No Evil. The original Speak No Evil is incredible. That movie fills you with so much anxiety. I would just recommend watching the original if you're going to watch one of them, but I can't argue that the Speak No Evil remake actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't feel like Americanization of it was necessary, but it wasn't too bad. James McAvoy is really good in it, very unsettling, and I completely understand why they changed the ending because the original is just so depressing. The Hunt, also out to B tier. Hilarious movie, very satirical. Infinity Pool, you're going an F. I remember the general premise of this movie, but that is all. I don't remember anything about it other than the fact that I didn't really like it. Ooh, and then another Mia Goth movie that I watched for the first time this year. Pearl, on the other hand, is an A. I think I like X more. I'd already seen X, but Pearl was also really good. Last Voyage of the Demeter, D tier, I think. Yeah, even though it wasn't great. And I'm not like, oh my god, it was so bad, like some of the other ones in F. And then last but not least, we have It's What's Inside. That is without a doubt going at an S tier. I've only watched this movie once, but I genuinely can't wait to rewatch it. I remember there being so much talk about it on social media when it first came out, and I didn't understand what the hype was all about until I watched it, and it is 100% worth how much it was talked about at the time. It's so clever, and the way that they filmed it to kind of not hold your hand but make it easier for you to understand what's going on is so smart. The twist took me by surprise as well, which isn't something that happens very often. Also, this is another movie like The Substance. It just looks really cool. And I like that it wasn't afraid to be itself. So that is the tier ranking of all the horror movies that I've watched this year. There are some absolutely incredible movies on this list. I 100% recommend you go and check out any of the ones that I put in S tier. If you've seen any of these movies, please let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you like this video and want more horror recommendations, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye.